welcome back to another episode. I'm here with special guest Kylie Stremmel. Kylie, you want to kind of explain yourself?
I'm Kylie Stremmel. I graduated from Champlin Park in 2022, and then I went to play volleyball at Regis University, and then I decided to not play anymore, but I still am at Regis, and then this is kind of like my long-lost cousin, right? We met 2 weeks ago at a family event that my family kind of just like showed up to, and so
yeah, it's like pretty interesting at 2 weeks, didn't think it would end up like this, but it's really cool to, get some more guests on here, and especially your volleyball career and stuff like that we can talk about. So, but first, how was your break? I know you're going back January 15th, so.
Yeah, I got here December 6th, and then it's kind of been a long break, honestly. I'm kind of ready to go back to Denver, honestly. It's just been long, but it was really nice to be with family.
So yeah, at our school, we do trimesters. You guys do semesters, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we get like 3 breaks, but yeah, it's probably nice to get a big break.
Yeah, it's really nice. I loved having trimesters and thought semesters would be so weird, but it's not that much of an adjustment. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, so kind of to start here, we want to go through like how you got into volleyball and how that all started.
I would say, so my first time ever playing volleyball was in my best friend's backyard, and we would play all the time, and we had this pond behind us, and the ball always got sent into the pond, and so it was always a struggle. And then I played on my first team, I want to say in 3rd grade, 2013, and looking back at that team, everyone on that team now plays college sports, but different sports. They have like volleyball, softball, and soccer. So I think that's really cool. And then I started playing more competitively in 6th grade, so 2016. And then I stayed with that club all through my senior year of high school. And then within club is when you start getting into your recruiting process and all that. And so then that led me into college.
Yeah, so you've almost been playing with the same friends and creating that chemistry almost?
I had the same team my 16s, 17s, and 18s year, so that was really cool.
Yeah, and even for like soccer that I play, for our club team, we've probably been playing together for a couple years now, and I think it really helps to like, even just to get better too. You're used to the same people, and you all want the same thing, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you have the same coaches going through?
We've had a bunch of different coaches.
Really?
Yeah, it's been weird, but yeah, now we finally have like a coach that we've had for a couple years, but I think even just the players help too. The coach, it's still a difference, but we've all stayed together, which is cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's definitely important, is that chemistry with your teammates.
Yeah, and then also being at the same school too, I'm assuming, some of them, for Champlin?
Yep, I had some Champlin people at club, but it's, my club is pretty competitive. We had some girls driving 2 hours for practice, for a 3-hour practice, to then drive home another 2 hours at 10 p.m. So we did have a lot of girls that were all over, but there was a few Champlin Park girls.
Yeah, we have that for soccer too. Like we have clubs where like we had kids coming from Wisconsin, and like it'd be like, I don't know, Friday night, and they gotta get back. And it's just like, it's a long travel, but there's a lot of people committed to it, so yeah, I can see how that's pretty difficult too,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm right if you went to NSN Select for volleyball, so how was kind of that and getting to play with some different people?
Oh, I loved playing at Select. I think they know what they're doing. They are the coaches are constantly going to like meetings, or what's it called, like programs or like camps almost, like always learning how to be better. And I think that they do have a top tier coaching staff that are always helping you on and off the court. And then they were huge within like the recruiting process and like building the connections. And then Select was such a large club that, like I said earlier, there's a lot of girls making long drives just to play for a few hours there and get that recognition and all that. So I don't know, I loved playing at Select. I'm glad I started there when I was 10, 11, and then I played all the way there until 18s, and then now I'm coaching there. So I've been there all week this week, just helping around coaching.
Nice. Is there like a big difference in like skill level from the selects from high school?
Yes, for sure. I think Champlin Park is pretty lucky with the girls that they have there. There's a lot of, you'll see like some all-star athletes in club that then go back to their high schools and they're like their only good player. And so there's definitely a huge difference between high school and club, and you kind of just get lucky with the program that you like the area you live in. But you will see, I feel like nowadays it's a lot more popular to transfer to different high schools to get into like a better program, which I feel like back then you never really saw, but it's definitely increasing a lot now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players too, especially for us, that are willing to take that 1 year of waiting to play varsity,
Yeah.
to want to play with the friends or the team that they want.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially in like hockey, like you see Minnetonka and like Edina do that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely like a cool way to do it, but like especially for me, we're too far in high school where it wouldn't make a reason to do it. But
I know. I think that's something you would have to decide. You should decide like before you enter high school.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, like I have a buddy who, I'm not gonna say his name, but he left to go to a different school junior year, like right now, and I didn't see it to make sense because he's gonna be a senior not being able to play.
So they do have that rule.
Yeah.
Volleyball has that rule, but there was some controversy in 2018. We had a player who went and played at Penn State her collegiate career, and she transferred her junior year to Champlin but was able to play her senior year. So I don't know if there's some ways around it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, so I haven't really gone into it. But yeah, it's crazy how like all these teams be switching and stuff. But yeah, it's cool. You get to play with a lot of the same friends and stuff. And I think that's really important too, and also getting like different perspectives from other teams. I know when I played over the country in Germany, getting different styles of soccer was really cool. And I brought a lot of stuff from that too.
Yeah, that's really cool. What year did you go? Was it recently?
No, that was like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes. It was, me and my brother got to play, but yeah, it was a really cool experience just to even travel and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Let's kind of go back. So Champlin Park. So did you ever play Spring Lake Park?
Yes, actually what's funny is last night my family we were eating dinner and we were scrolling through like our past recordings, and it was the section semis, the first round, quarterfinal, whatever the first round is of playoffs, was Champlin versus Spring Lake Park, and it was my junior year, so it was COVID, and we were all wearing masks, and it was just, I don't know, we literally watched it like 2 nights ago. The only time we ever see Spring Lake Park is first round of playoffs. So I think that was my junior year and senior year. It's really the only time.
Yeah, I mean, Spring Lake Park sports aren't really the best, but but yeah, I mean, it's seeing to play different schools, you know. I don't know how good our volleyball team was when you played them, but
they were okay. Yeah.
But I mean, they're trying. I mean, we're trying to also get the boys team too.
Yeah.
So,
boys volleyball is crazy nowadays. Yeah. It's like totally booming, I guess you could say, increasing. Like Minnesota just allowed it to be a, what is it called? Like a official sport, a sanctioned sport.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting.
Yeah, I know our school is really trying to push for it, and they finally got it because it's been like a couple years that they've been trying to actually make it a official thing because they did it for like club and stuff.
Yeah, it was considered a club sport in high school, and then I think 2022 they lost I don't know what it's called. Like they lost their votes by 1 vote. Like they needed 1 more vote, yes, to become a sanctioned sport, and I remember that was so frustrating for a lot of my friends.
And is that for just the state, or is that?
Yeah. Okay. So I think Minnesota was like the 11th state in the country to make boys volleyball a high school sanctioned sport, which is really cool. And I think it was one of the largest coming in. It was the 11th to be a sanctioned sport, but it came in at number 1 as being the largest populated with men's volleyball. Yeah,
because I mean it's been growing a lot. I've seen like also the 92,000 stadium for the Nebraska Omaha thing. So yeah, it's been great to see it grow. I think it's a lot of boys want to play too because we play it in gym, class and stuff, and I think it's great for the sport.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this year for college athletics, women's college athletics, it's grown so much. Women's volleyball broke so many attendance records this year, and it was streamed on ABC for the national championship. Is streamed on ABC, which is so cool and has never happened before. And then with the Nebraska game that had 90,000 people there live, that's not even including all the people that were streaming it. So it's been on a crazy growth.
Yeah, it's more than football teams even get too. I think it's really cool, and to see the different people get into it's awesome too. There's a bunch of sports like that are growing, but yeah, it's amazing. I think it will keep going like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see, the different kind of groups of people getting into it.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go to how do I say this? For MN Select, does that kind of help you get to Regis in a way? Did that help you get committed there? Or?
Yeah, so I would say for school your recruiting process is really within club volleyball. Club volleyball is all of your connections, and I would say your tournaments that you go to, that you play in, is really just a showcase for college coaches. You will email a bunch of college coaches prior to attending your tournament, and you'll be like, hey, I'll be on this court at this time, hope to see you there. And then these coaches will come to your court, watch you. They can't talk to you until after, it's the summer after your junior year or your sophomore year. So once you're a junior is when they can talk to you, but they'll come to your court, watch you and all that. So I hadn't even heard of Regis before they emailed me. They came to a few of my games my junior year, and then they emailed me, and I kind of was just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And then we kind of looked into them more, did research about Denver and the program itself. And then I emailed back, and then we had a phone call, and I really enjoyed the coach's presence on the phone call and what they were saying. And then that led to coming on a visit, an official visit. And then on my visit, I played with the team. It was kind of like a tryout. I don't know if most schools do that. I don't know if it's more of a D2 thing, where they do this little tryout. You play with the team, see if the chemistry can be there, if they like you as a player, kind of see how you are. And then they offered me right after, still on my visit after that practice, and then I kind of sat on the offer for a little bit, and then ended up committing there about a month later.
But did you have any friends going into it knowing that you're gonna play with them?
No. I didn't have any friends at Regis. I was told I was gonna be one of the only Minnesotans at Regis, and then I got there, and my dorm neighbor, the girl next to me, was literally I think she's from St. Paul, and there's actually so many Minnesotans there now being there. But no, I didn't know anybody going in. I had some friends. A girl on my club team at Select plays at UNC, which is University of Northern Colorado, and so I have people nearby. That's only about an hour away, but not at Regis.
Yeah, so and I'm assuming that all happened so fast, the process and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to find Minnesotans that are going to the same college is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
But how quick was it to kind of get a connection with your team the first year you were there?
Oh, it was almost instant. Your first practices, you're learning about how players play, how they want to be treated on the court, because everyone handles their stress differently. And so I feel with college athletics, they kind of know what they're doing, and they know that they're bringing in all these different people around the country, rather than at Select. It's kind of more the people within the metro. Mm-hmm. And so they take extra steps to make sure that you are getting comfortable with each other, you know how to handle hard situations, get out of hard situations. So I think before we even started practicing, we went through this questionnaire of what it looks like when you're stressed, how, like, what is the best way for you to get out of that? What do you want from your teammates and stuff like that? And so I feel like they take the steps to ensure that you're comfortable with your teammates from the beginning and create that chemistry from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to also take a lot too, because you haven't really gone through any like adversity too, you know, when you're getting with this new team. So when did that kind of kick in, like where it was like, you know, started like kind of going back and forth?
Are you talking about like
I was saying, like,
back and forth?
Like if you mean like losing and like adversity, like I know like with select team, like we went through some losses and it was like we never really gone through that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would say, honestly, preseason will kick your butt. You're in there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so even though those weren't like game losses, you were going through your hardest like physical challenges before you're even stepping on the court. And so I would say having like being at your almost like you're not your lowest, but like you're being physically challenged to the max, and you're sitting side by side with your teammates in those times that when it came to being in a match and being down, that we knew how to help each other and get there. And I would say, honestly, we handled a lot of our losses. We only had 7. I think our record was 24-7. And a lot of those losses were from top 10 ranked teams or top 15 ranked teams. And so we took those as learning lessons. And yeah.
Yeah, and also like at least for when I used to play hockey, even those road trips would help too, kind of after a loss, get back to, you know, what it's like to win. Did you have a lot of road trips like that?
Mm-hmm. We had a lot of road trips. One thing that's really nice about Regis is they're in the RMAC conference, and within the RMAC, a lot of the teams are in Denver. There's like 4 schools within like 20 minutes, and then there's some that are like an hour, 2 hours, and then you have the ones that are like South Dakota Mines and Black Hills State, which is a good 6-hour drive. And so we had a few, I would say 6 hours was our longest drive down to New Mexico, Highlands and Adams State. But those road trips were bonding time for sure. We were up playing games on the bus, just trying to get through the 6-hour car ride. We actually have a rule that after a game you cannot touch your phone. You can't go on your phone at all until after the dinner. So after every game we get on the bus, we would go to dinner, and we didn't even bring our phones inside. And so you weren't on your phone the bus ride to dinner, at dinner, and then once you got on the bus, like, people were still just talking to each other. And so I feel like that built a lot of chemistry, and that was pretty strong bonding time.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a good idea from your coach or whoever decided that, just to get talking with the friends and stuff and kind of forget about all that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your favorite memories from playing, or is there...
At Regis?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do have a lot of good memories. Hotel trips, or like being in a hotel, was always really fun. I would say as much as a struggle preseason was, we were together from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, and within that, we made so many memories. I mean, we had one day where we just went and did like go-kart racing, mini golf, and like did like mini competitions within that, which I thought was really cool. So I would say like the travel was definitely really fun and for sure a top memory.
Yeah, and can you walk me through like the schedule for when you were playing?
Mm-hmm. So basically you get there, and when I got dropped off at Regis, I was put into my teammate's house, and I slept on the couch for a week because housing wasn't open yet. And so that was kind of weird, because it's like, how can you really get adjusted right away, I guess. And then once I got moved into the dorms, it was a lot easier to settle in. And then during preseason, you were in the gym by 6:30 a.m. So Regis, the coaches have a rule that you have to be in the locker room before practice 30 minutes before practice starts, and then if we have a meeting, you have to be 15 minutes early. And so we'd be in the gym in the locker room by 6:30. Then you're practicing from 7. I think we practiced 7 to 9, and then we would have a 30-minute lift, and then from the 30-minute lift, we had like a little break. You go to your room, maybe just like chill in the locker room, and then we had a team lunch at 11, and then we normally had meetings at like 12 to like 2, which was like compliance meetings, just like season meetings, just like all the basics. And then we had another practice from 3 to 5:30, and then afterwards we would go to a team dinner. And so we were really we had like an hour break before, I think it was before lunch really, but other than that you were together the whole time for 12 hours every single day for preseason. And then once you hit into the season, and with now school started, because preseason you didn't even have classes yet. You were really we were the only ones on campus. Because no students were there yet, which was also really nice moving in early, because you didn't have to deal with all the traffic of moving in with everybody. Mm-hmm. But on a regular day, I would wake up, I would go to study table, because you had to have 6 hours a week of proctored studying. And so I wake up, go to study table for 2 hours, and then I would go to class, and that was different every day. I always had at least 2 classes a day, some 3, and they were always 75 minutes, that's a pretty good time. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays I would head straight from class to practice, and then you're in the gym from 3 o'clock till 6:30 most days, and then you go eat dinner, and then otherwise sometimes we have meetings depending if a game was coming up. So you get out of the gym around like 6:37, and then go have dinner, and then a lot of the time a lot of the girls have to go to study table again to make sure that you're getting your 6 hours of proctored studying, which was kind of a lot. But then after that you shower and go to bed and repeat, and it's a lot. It was nice having structure. It's very structured, but it is the same thing every day. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be pretty draining too, just doing the same thing over and over again. But how did you like manage school as well with all the practice and meetings and stuff like that?
Honestly, my biggest advice is go meet up with your teachers, have one-on-one meetings with your teachers. I got help. I was with my math teacher at least once a week. Sorry. I was with my math teacher at least once a week, and that was a lifesaver. And with my biology, it would have been a lot different if I wasn't able to get that one-on-one help, especially like traveling on the weekends, because it's a lot harder to do your homework and study when you're on a bus or traveling and being around all your favorite people. Mm-hmm. So I would say it really helped for me to get one-on-one help, and then it also kind of helped that your coaches are constantly checking in on you, making sure that you're doing what you need to do, making sure that you're staying on track. And then that's also why the study table is a thing, just to make sure that you are sitting down and doing your homework. So I feel like, they have the right steps to ensure that you are doing well in school.
And I'm assuming they had a required GPA to keep at for the volleyball?
Yep, so to stop doing study table, you had to get a 3.2. So all freshmen and transfers are required to do study table their first fall at Regis, and then if they got a 3.2 or higher, then they're able to not do study table anymore until if their GPA drops to a 3.0. You could be a senior, and if you have got a 3.0 one semester, you have to do study table the following semester.
Yeah, and is Regis a small college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fairly, I'm pretty sure Champlin Park, my high school, was bigger than what Regis is. I want to say our undergrad is 2,500, and my graduating class is around 400, which my graduating class at Champlin Park was like 810. So it's almost double. And yeah, I pictured myself going to a large university since I was at Champlin. That's just kind of what I was used to. And so that was kind of one of my like, I was super hesitant about Regis at first because of how small it was. But in the end, like, I love that. I mean, all my professors know who I am, like, not just my name and that's like my grade, if that, but like they all know who I am, where I'm from, like what I like to do, and I think that creates a special bond, and that's why I was able to go in and get that one-on-one help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think if you go to a big school, you're not going to get the help that they're not going to know you. The professors aren't going to know you, so I think that would help too with sports, knowing that the teacher kind of can help you in a way that they knows best.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So, what would the weekends look like? Is that kind of like your free time, I guess?
You would think, yeah. So I mean, that's our allotted free time, you could say. So Fridays and Saturdays were our game days, and so Friday morning I would wake up and go to class, and then I'd go to the freshmen and non-starters had to go to a extra lift on Friday mornings, and then I'd go back to class. And then we had serve and pass, which is just like a pre-practice before the game. And then you kind of got downtime to go get some food, and then you come back, and then Friday games always started at 7 p.m. So then you were in the gym starting prepping for like since like 3 p.m. probably till, depending on the game, 9 p.m. And then you kind of go home, and then unless you have family, you go out with your family, go get dinner, and then you repeat, and then you're back in the gym by 9 a.m. the next day doing your serve and pass, and then your games on Saturdays were around 3 p.m. So then you're in the gym from 9 to 5, and then after that is kind of like your free time. So then you have Saturday night, which all of my Saturday nights were just like being with my friends and all that, catching up, and then Saturdays I didn't do anything while being in season. I kind of laid in bed. That's when you're catching up on all the homework you missed and all that. And then if you're traveling that weekend, you probably won't get back until really late Saturday night or sometimes Sunday mornings. And so then that looks a little bit different. But
And is that a good time for your family to come up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my parents actually made it to Denver 8 weekends out of, I don't know how many weekends there were. They came up almost every home game, which was really nice. But it's almost like hard when they come, because like you want to spend all the time that you can, because they flew to come see me, but you just don't have a lot of free time. So it's like we were really just getting like a lunch or dinner in, and then it was kind of like that was kind of it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's got to be like, again, draining too, because like it's never stopping almost.
Mm-hmm.
But then what's the difference, because you're not playing this year, correct?
Correct.
So then what's the difference now with the amount of time you get?
Honestly, it feels like I have too much time on my hands. And so this spring I am going to be looking for a job, which I think will be really nice. But it was honestly so nice just doing what I want, when I want, on my own time. And I love having structure, but I feel like it was important for myself to build that structure for myself and follow that. And so this fall I did a lot of things that I would have never been able to do if I was playing. Like a lot of my friends, we did some hikes, we floated down some rivers, and I don't know, it's just been really nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that too, because I'm playing soccer right now, but I don't really want to play in college because it'd be, again, draining like you were saying, and just every day going back and playing a lot. So I think that having that open schedule helps you hang out with friends and get some schoolwork done.
Oh, for sure. You have ample time to do your homework at this point, so there's really no excuse for bad grades.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, is there like So how is like the campus? Like, are you there a lot, or now with not playing, are you kind of going different places?
So I thankfully have a car on campus, and so I do have the freedom to leave campus whenever I want. And I would say, like, it was almost useless having a car last fall when I was playing volleyball because I didn't even have time to go anywhere. I don't even know where I would have went. But this last fall, not playing, it was, I mean, I work out off campus, and so I'll drive there and drive to the grocery store, and then now, like, my friends will go drive to Boulder, which is only 20 minutes away, and we go up, drive up the mountains there and watch sunsets. And so, yeah, I would say I've been able to go off campus so much more now, and it's been really nice to explore Colorado.
And do you get to watch like the other sports teams play too?
I did think it was going to be weird going and watching the volleyball games now, not playing, but I was in the stands almost all their home games that I was there for, and it was so cool. My roommate last year is our goalie for the soccer team, and then three of my best friends are on the lacrosse team, and so we go to all the sports. And I would say Regis is small enough that the culture for sports is so well blended that everyone is at all the games supporting everyone, and it creates a very, very fun environment.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, it's probably the same as high school, like those student sections, just with more kids. But yeah. So then, how did your like teammates feel about you not playing?
It was a rough one for sure. It took a while for me to decide, so I kind of decided I didn't want to play over the Christmas break last year, just like reflecting on the season that we had and like how I was feeling. So then I did practice a few times within the spring, and I think my teammates could see that something was off. And so when it came down to quit, I had talked to my coaches, and like that was kind of like a whole ordeal. They didn't fully let me quit right away. It took a few weeks. And then when it came time to tell my teammates, I drove to everyone's house and sat down. Kind of like one-on-two, since most of them lived together, and had one-on-one conversations. And it was really, it was really sad, but it was fine. And then no one graduated. So like last fall, it was the same exact team this fall, just including new incoming freshmen. And so seeing them after the games, they all came up and hugged me, said they were glad that I was there. And like honestly, everything stayed the same, which was really nice.
Yeah, and it's gotta suck too, because that's been the sport you've been playing, your whole life. But once you start to lose like interest and stuff, like that's what I noticed with me. Like when practices start to get boring, and you don't really want to commit to the time, it gets hard to keep playing.
For sure, I think you need to have that motivation to keep playing, and you kind of just gotta listen to yourself. As soon as it starts feeling like a job, and you're not playing it because you want to go do it, I think that's when you know it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything else, but yeah, it was great to have you on. Short amount of time, but yeah, it's awesome to have you, and hopefully, sometime again we can run it back.
For sure. Thank you for having me.